All right, folks, what's up? How you doing? Oh, I'm so glad to be back. This is Michael. In the dead of night, in the middle of the night, in the wee hours. Where the coffee pot is always full, and if it ever runs out, we'll just make more, and I'm back with your daily trivia question. Once again, a little safety dance there. I like safety dance, man. That's my kind of music right there back in the day. Let me just tell you. You kids, back in the day, I could cut me a rug with some safety dance, with the whole hand thing and everything. I don't even know what I was doing, but I was good at it nonetheless, right? So happy hump day. And beware the Ides of March, folks. It's March 15th. I'm going to reference that in a trivia question here in just a minute. But in the meantime, let's get right to the previous trivia question. So the answer to the previous trivia question was, if you weren't able to get it, this was kind of an easy one. The FBI 10 most wanted fugitive list. I got a lot of answers from a lot of people, and all of them were acceptable, folks, because we don't split hairs here in the wee hours on the trivia question, right? There's no prize to take away anyway, so you know. But FBI's most wanted, the most wanted, America's most wanted, FBI's 10 most wanted fugitive. I accepted all those. So there you go. All right. So getting right to it, the list arose, the top 10 most wanted list arose from a conversation, just a kind of a nonchalant conversation held in late 1949 between, of course, the FBI director J. Edgar Hoover and a man named William Kinsey Hutchison, who worked for the International News Service. Now, the two were discussing possible ways to promote the existence and hopeful capture of the FBI's toughest guys, quote unquote. That's what they called them kind of back in the day. Now, it was this discussion that turned into a published article in the International News Service, which received so much positive publicity and really put it out there that on March 14th of 1950, which was the focus of the trivia question, the FBI officially announced the list as a permanent mainstay for the FBI and for American society to increase law enforcement's ability to capture dangerous fugitives. It caught on really well. The list would be narrowed down in publication to 10, the top 10, if you will, the 10 most wanted, and is still very much around to this day. And it's definitely not a list you want to be on. You can check it on FBI's website, and you can go straight to the 10 most wanted, and they are updated often. Now, how is this list formed? So there's a process to this. A section of the FBI known as the Criminal Investigative Division, or CID, which you may have heard of before on television shows, on reality shows where cops are walking around. They want CID to do a background, a quick background check on them. Same concept. The FBI asks the CID from all 56 field offices to submit candidates for inclusion on the top 10 list. Finalists, quote unquote, if you will, are then proposed for approval by the FBI's deputy director. So, like I said, there's an actual process for the whole thing, and everything has to be approved all the way going up the flagpole. So the criteria, believe it or not, there's criteria. There's criteria for being on the top 10 FBI most wanted. The criminal must have a lengthy record. Obviously, as you can imagine, current pending charges that make him or her particularly dangerous is also a box that needs to be checked. And the FBI must believe that placing the person on the list and making it available to the public will assist in the apprehension of the fugitive. So that's kind of one of the most significant aspects of, like I said, all the boxes that they check in forming this list, which is updated often. Now, my research indicates that since its debut, hundreds of the criminals included on the top 10 list have been apprehended or located, with more than 150 as a result of tips from the public. Now, I double-checked those numbers, and I'm not impressed with those at all. That's just really low statistics for something that's been around since 1950. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I'm not impressed with those numbers whatsoever as far as catching criminals that are on a top 10 list and putting it out there since consecutively since 1950. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Okay, it's a couple of cool geek factoids about the FBI's most wanted top 10. Individuals are generally only removed from the list if they are captured or if they die. That's a pretty good reason to be removed from any list, right? Because you're not around anymore. Or if charges against them are dropped, they are then replaced by a new entry selected by the FBI. That last piece of criteria, that hardly ever happens. In only 11 cases, in fact, speaking of which, in only 11 cases since its inception, the FBI has removed individuals from the list after deciding that they're no longer a particularly dangerous menace to society. So they're still criminals, right? They're still like the worst of the worst, but they're not so much the worst that they need to be on the FBI's top 10. So they just boot them off the list. I imagine that criminals would probably be disappointed if they get taken off the top 10 most wanted. I don't know. Maybe that's just me and my late night thinking full of caffeine. So one of the current top 10 most wanted, I thought this was an interesting factoid, is a woman, and that's not the part that I thought was interesting, but I think that some of the aspects of her is that she is a former TED Talk motivational speaker on the Bitcoin industry, wanted for massive fraudulent activity. You can look that up, folks, on the FBI's top 10 most wanted fugitive. She's there, and it has a couple of links that you can click on where you can see her talking on a TED Talk about her, so whatever kind of Bitcoin industry she has, but she's wanted for fraud. It's a long cry from like hardcore criminals from back in the day, from back in 1950. You know, most of those, and even through the current times, were like murderers, rapists, and so forth. She's wanted for fraud and made it to the FBI's top 10. Go figure. So despite occasional references in the media and in song, which was some of the bumper music I played, Public Enemy #1 by Motley Crue was a case in point. The FBI, I thought this was interesting and did not know this, the FBI does not rank their list. So no suspect is considered #1 on the FBI's most wanted list. No suspect who posts on that list is the most wanted. There is no particular public enemy #1. They are all bad public enemies, folks. And again, that is not a list that you ever want to be on. All right, folks, I don't know what happened with my equipment yesterday, but apparently it cut off before I could read the new trivia question. So I actually just gave you a synopsis of the previous trivia question, without ever having really read it the night before. That's how my week is going. I was training this weekend. I couldn't post. I lost an hour of sleep. We all did for daylight savings time, and my equipment's not working. So, and it's only Wednesday. It's hump day. I'm going to have a hard time crawling over that hump in hump day. But nonetheless, here we go for March 15th. Like I said before, beware the Ides of March. So saith the soothsayer. So check this out for your new trivia question. On this day, in 44 BC, as the dictator of Rome, Julius Caesar is stabbed to death in the Roman Senate house by 60 conspirators, he utters these final words. Good luck, folks. Thanks for all you do. I appreciate every one of you staying up with me in the wee hours. Have a happy hump day. And peace out.